The relationship between ADHD and anxiety. What you need to know. ADHD often feels like a constant whirlwind in your mind, where thoughts race, impulses pull you in every direction, and emotions feel larger than life. It's not just about forgetting tasks or losing focus. It's the frustration that comes when you know what needs to be done but can't quite get there. This gap between intention and action can lead to repeated moments of disappointment, whether it's missing deadlines, forgetting commitments, or struggling to keep up with everyday demands. Over time, these experiences can pile up, creating a heavy weight of unmet expectations. This constant struggle with focus and impulsivity doesn't exist in a vacuum. It affects how you interact with the world around you, your relationships, your responsibilities, even your own self-esteem. The frustration of feeling out of sync with what others expect can begin to plant the seeds of anxiety. Maybe it starts as a small worry about forgetting something important, but it grows into a larger fear of making mistakes or letting others down. That fear lingers, making it harder to relax or trust yourself to handle future situations. When emotional regulation becomes a challenge, it can add even more fuel to the fire. Small problems might feel like they're spiraling out of control, and moments of overwhelm can turn into full-blown anxiety. It's like your brain is working overtime, trying to keep up with everything at once, but the more you push, the harder it becomes. You're not just dealing with ADHD anymore. You're carrying the added burden of worrying about all the ways it affects your life. This cycle can feel exhausting, as though you're always playing catch-up, always trying to fix or manage something. It's the weight of knowing you could do more, but feeling like you're held back by forces you can't fully control. And that weight doesn't just disappear, it lingers in your mind and body, making you more prone to stress and anxiety. It's not just about what's happening now, it's about the fear of what could go wrong next, which creates a constant state of unease. That's how ADHD and anxiety become intertwined, feeding off each other in a way that feels almost impossible to untangle. The constant sense of being behind, of not meeting expectations, builds an underlying tension that doesn't seem to go away. It's like carrying a heavy backpack full of unmet goals, regrets, and fears, and each day, another item gets added to the load. Living with ADHD often means facing a world that doesn't fully understand how your mind works. People might see your forgetfulness, impulsivity, or inability to focus as signs of carelessness, laziness, or lack of effort. These judgments, whether spoken aloud or silently felt, can be deeply hurtful. Over time, they start to chip away at your confidence. It's not just about the mistakes you make or the tasks you struggle to complete. It's about the way those experiences shape how you see yourself and how others see you. When you feel like you're constantly being misunderstood or judged, it's natural to start second-guessing yourself. Maybe you hesitate before speaking up in a meeting, afraid of saying something wrong. Maybe you worry about starting a new project, convinced you'll mess it up before you even begin. That worry doesn't just stay in one area of your life. It begins to grow, seeping into everything you do. You might start to avoid situations where failure feels likely or pulled back from opportunities because the fear of judgment feels overwhelming. This cycle of doubt and fear feeds directly into anxiety. Every mistake or criticism reinforces the belief that you're not capable or good enough, which makes the next situation feel even more daunting. Your brain starts to anticipate failure as a default, creating a constant state of tension. Even when nothing is going wrong at the moment, you might find yourself waiting for the next slip-up, the next reminder that you're not meeting the expectations set by others or yourself. The world around you often doesn't make things easier. Deadlines, social expectations, and the need for constant organization can feel like they're designed for people whose brains work differently from yours. It's like trying to fit into a mold that was never built for you, and every time you don't fit, the pressure builds. That pressure doesn't just come from external sources. It comes from within. You might tell yourself you should be able to do things better, faster, or more consistently, even when you're already doing your best. This relentless tension between what you feel capable of and what's expected of you creates a breeding ground for anxiety. It's not just about 1 or 2 moments of stress. It's the cumulative effect of living in a world that doesn't always accommodate how you function. Over time, anxiety stops feeling like a reaction to specific events and starts to feel like a constant companion, always lingering in the background. It's not just about what has already happened. It's about the fear of what might happen next, which makes it harder to find peace or confidence in your day-to-day life. Managing ADHD and anxiety can feel overwhelming, but breaking the cycle starts with small, intentional changes. One of the most effective strategies is learning to pause, especially when your mind feels like it's racing out of control. Taking a moment to focus on your breath or ground yourself in the present can create a sense of calm, even in the middle of chaos. Mindfulness techniques, such as guided breathing exercises or simply paying attention to your surroundings, can help slow down an overactive mind and give you space to think more clearly. Structuring your day is another powerful tool. When everything feels like a jumbled mess, creating a clear plan can provide a sense of direction. Start by identifying the most important tasks and break them into smaller, manageable steps. Instead of looking at a project as one massive hurdle, focus on one piece at a time. Setting realistic goals is key. Aiming too high can lead to frustration, but achievable steps can build confidence and momentum. Using tools like timers, reminders, or visual schedules can keep you on track without overwhelming you. Therapy, particularly cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, offers valuable strategies for managing both ADHD and anxiety. It helps you recognize and reframe negative thought patterns that might be fueling your stress. For example, instead of focusing on what could go wrong, CBT encourages you to shift your perspective to what you can control and accomplish. It's about learning to approach challenges with a mindset of problem-solving rather than self-criticism. Building routines can also create a sense of stability, especially when ADHD and anxiety make everything feel unpredictable. Simple habits like setting a consistent bedtime or dedicating specific times for work and relaxation can help establish a rhythm that reduces stress. Finding activities that you enjoy, such as exercise or creative hobbies, can also be a great way to release tension and boost your mood. Ultimately, it's about finding what works for you and giving yourself grace along the way. Progress doesn't mean perfection. It means creating small moments of control and calm in the midst of a busy, often chaotic world. Living with ADHD can feel like an endless chase for perfection, but that chase often leads to frustration and disappointment. The truth is, perfection was never the goal, progress is. Allowing yourself to make mistakes, take breaks, and learn at your own pace is one of the most important steps toward breaking the cycle of shame and anxiety. Self-compassion isn't just about being kind to yourself in moments of struggle. It's about recognizing that your worth isn't tied to how much you accomplish or how perfectly you perform. You're allowed to fall short without letting it define you. Letting go of shame starts with how you talk to yourself. The voice in your head that says you're not good enough, that you're failing, or that you're a burden. Challenging that voice is a form of self-compassion. Instead of harsh criticism, try reminding yourself that you're doing the best you can with the tools you have. When you treat yourself with kindness, it becomes easier to face challenges without the fear of judgment, even when those challenges feel overwhelming. Having a support system can make a world of difference. Being surrounded by people who understand ADHD or are willing to learn about it creates a space where you feel safe to be yourself. These are the people who won't dismiss your struggles or make you feel like you have to explain every little thing. They'll celebrate your victories, no matter how small, and remind you that your value isn't tied to how well you fit into a world that often feels unaccommodating. Support systems can take many forms. It might be a close friend, a family member, a therapist, or even an online community of people who understand what you're going through. The important thing is finding connections where you feel seen and valued. When you know you're not alone, it becomes easier to take risks, try new strategies, and face life's challenges head-on. You don't have to carry the weight of ADHD and anxiety by yourself. Progress isn't about fixing every problem overnight. It's about moving forward, even if it's just a little bit at a time. Self-compassion and support give you the foundation to keep going, to recognize your own strength, and to remember that every step forward, no matter how small, is worth celebrating. ADHD and anxiety can often feel like they're working against you, amplifying each other in ways that make life feel overwhelming. But understanding their connection gives you the power to take control. With practical strategies, self-compassion, and the right support system, it's possible to create a life where these challenges don't define you. Progress doesn't have to be perfect. It starts with small, consistent steps. Trust that each effort you make brings you closer to balance and a sense of calm.
If you enjoyed this video and want to see more content like this, we prepared the next video especially for you. Click here to watch.